the Tenants Association here at the Ledbury Estate. And what you've seen this morning is a whole load of residents from the estate, all very concerned, some of them in tears, wondering what's going to happen. They've had to take time off work. People are worried about families splitting up. One granddaughter's been down here because her 86-year-old mother can't come down herself. There's such a degree of uncertainty and stress and anxiety because people don't know what the situation is because it's been changing from day to day, hour to hour. What you've also seen this morning here is an absolute battalion of council staff coming in to talk to people individually about their needs for their work, for their what their kids are doing during the summer holidays, what families are living together on this estate. What is going to happen to people? So hour by hour they are trying to sort it out, but I know the council is doing absolutely everything it can. The councillors are very caring councillors, the staff are very dedicated, and we're all concerned to ensure that they get on with that job to try and reassure people. I mean, just one example, a woman was, in floods of tears. She's had a holiday planned. She doesn't know whether she could go on her holiday, leaving her grown-up children, or whether or not she needs to stay. And the holiday has been booked, for years, basically. So there's all these uncertainties, but I'm also concerned that the government should help. The council is doing, the Tenants Association are doing a brilliant job communicating with all the tenants and liaising with the council. The councillors are doing a really important job. They're absolutely on the side of people living here. But really, we need the government to help. The government have cut Southwark Council's funds in half over the last 7 years. In half. And actually, it's going to cost money to sort out all the structural problems, to rehouse people temporarily and permanently, to compensate people for the loss of money from their earnings because of this disruption. People have had to take time off work. And the government need to step in and stand behind the council and make sure that they've got enough money to pay for all this. Now, the council is committed to paying for refurbishing these flats and rehousing people temporarily in the meantime for people being able to come back. But actually, we don't want the price to be paid by other tenants around and about in Southwark who themselves are waiting for major works. Why should they pay the price of not having their important works being done? And why also should leaseholders be clobbered with huge charges for all this work? So basically, the council is stepping up to the plate. The tenants are being incredibly forbearing in what is very difficult and anxious circumstances. But really, we must have a commitment from the government that they are going to give the council the cash they need. Me and the other MPs in Southwark, Neil Coyle and Helen Hayes, pressed the government before the House went into recess for the summer, and we said, are you going to give Southwark Council extra money? We just got weasel words and evasion. Today I'm absolutely challenging the government. Say you are going to give the money to the council to make sure that they are doing their job as the government. The council's doing their job.
Why is it that
Sanjay Javid has already said local councils have tried to sort out the talk to DCL.
Well, it's actually really nice words. If you hear what he said to me and the other MPs in the House of Commons, he's talked about the help. He hasn't actually said we are going to come up with the cash, and that is what they have to do at this point. I mean, the most immediate thing, well, millions of pounds. I think the council have said at least 70 million pounds, probably 100 million pounds. But actually, they need to be talking to the council. The government need to say, right, you tell us how much all of this is costing, and we will help you. Remember, this is a government that has come up with Southwark Council's funds, so they've got a responsibility for the fact that they are currently strapped for cash. The most important thing for the tenants right now is to have some certainty, hour by hour, day by day. I mean, people just really don't know what's going to happen. But actually, the government have got to step up. They are the government of this country.
Why is it that a Labour council has only just discovered this problem? It's the since the collapse of
the Keep it out in my trolley. I'll take it.
And then I will answer.
Why is it that a Labour
We'll all answer. answer it. We'll all answer that question. But Jeanette is asked to come in, and you should let her come
you
in.
answer.
Yeah, I will answer it, but I'm going to answer it after Jeanette, and then Michael will answer. But yes, I will answer your
We've
question.
been fighting the water, the leaks, for over quite a few years now, and Richard Livingstone has been onto it as well. We've heard nothing about these cracks, but just the water. Had we heard about these cracks, the TRA would have been onto it a lot more quicker.
But what about the gas? This gas issue?
Well, the gas should have been sorted out when years ago when Roland Boyd, all of that, but that's not down to this one, that was down to whoever was in government and never put it up then when they should have done.
Okay, now
I mean,
we can ask the MP now, so why is
Well,
it Labour
I'm a
Council?
representative from
Just
the council.
give him the respect. He's the local council. I will answer
that.
afterwards. But
I think it's very clear that since Grenfell, all local authority rightly have to assess their ITAR building as to whether they're safe or not. And that's what we did as a council. We instructed our experts from the organisation to look at the structure of the towers in itself, and immediately they informed us as to the fact that there are some concerns in relation to the gas safety aspect in relation to the towers. We have acted as we are doing at the moment. I think what is very important is that we do stand shoulder to shoulder with our residents who are facing very difficult positions at the moment and very distressing positions, and that's what we're trying to do as a council. And as Harriet has said earlier on, we can do so much more if the government stands shoulder to shoulder with us to provide the residents the support they need, the assistance they need to deal with what is, of course, a very difficult situation.
Okay. So I think the position is that when these were GLC blocks, and when Southwark Council was handed them by the government, when the government abolished the GLC, I think at that point there was a certification, and this was after Roland Point, that the structural works that were necessary in the light of Roland Point had been undertaken, and that the GLC was giving Southwark Council structurally sound blocks. I think that is the position. But I think what's happened is that as further investigations have gone on, new issues have been raised. First, there was the issue of were the blocks safe in relation to fire, and the council had to do some really sort of very focused and urgent work to make sure that there was not a fire risk. But in the course of that, they also asked their engineers to look at the question of the gas supply and the structural issues, and it's that they've now come back with, saying they're not satisfied it's safe, and that is the reason why they've turned off the gas. And because they've turned off the gas, and therefore people don't have heating, hot water or cooking facilities, that's why people will need to be moving out whilst the major works are being done. But you know, the point is to deal with it now, and also, yes, to learn the lessons as to why something that was clearly been a problem for a long time, and when clearly there have been investigations around these blocks over decades, why is it only now that has been recognised? And I think lessons will need to be learned about that.
What do you want to say to residents who've had to live with this risk for all those years? If there had been a gas explosion here, it could have been catastrophic consequences.
Well, I think I want to say to the residents here that I am really concerned for their anxiety, for the uncertainty there is for the future. I mean, they want to be getting on with their lives, and they don't even want to move once, let alone twice, with all the disruption. So I'm pressing the council, and the council is absolutely onto the issue of sorting out the issues. And it's not just a problem for individuals as well. These are blocks where you've got a grandmother living, a mother and her kids. They all support each other. This is a community here. These are not just words. These are actually families who look after each other. They need to be put near where the kids go to school, near where the mum goes to work, near where the elderly grandmother is there needing help. So that is what I'm saying at the moment to residents, is that we're really backing them up to make sure the council helps sort people out. And in the longer term, we want to see these blocks refurbished and back as council.
And what happens to a family saying we want to get out today? Where will they go? Will they go to a hotel? Will they be housed in a new home? process?
Well, I think the council are looking at hotels. They're looking at everything on an hour-by-hour basis. I mean, what they've done is that they are treating this as a major issue. They're not just carrying on business as usual at the town hall. You've seen all the people who are arriving here, and they're all going to be working on it, including throughout the weekend. So, you know, I'm backing them up in the work that they're doing. But I think it's impossible to overstate how worrying it is for tenants, you know, how anxious it is for them. But, you know, this is their homes, many of them have been here for 30, 40 years, and then suddenly they don't know where they're going to be tonight, let alone tomorrow. Well, I'm really sorry for the situation that the residents are facing. You know, the level of anxiety and worry and uncertainty for the future is absolutely awful for them. But I think the council are doing their best, and they have been commissioning advice from the experts. They've been commissioning advice from engineers, from fire experts. So I think that the council are doing everything they can, and I'm backing them up in doing that. But I think that we need to be saying to the government, where are you to help a council where there's an unprecedented situation? The government need to step in and help.
You've been the MP here for a long time. Is this the first you've heard about problems here, and if so, why?
No, there have been concerns about cracks and all sorts of issues in relation to the estate going back decades, and each time concerns have been raised. Reports have been commissioned. Is it structurally safe? Is it safe for fire? You know, what are the issues? And then the council has acted on the advice, the expert advice from the fire brigade, from engineers, to say that it's safe. Now what they're saying is, in the latest investigation, that it's not safe for the gas supply. The gas supply needs to be turned off, because if there was a gas explosion, then there would be structural problems, and therefore now they're acting on that advice.
So all the previous advice over decades was wrong, all of it?
Well, it certainly is not the advice that is being given now. The advice that's being given now is that things that were clearly an issue right back from when the building was handed over to the council after the GLC was abolished, these are only now coming to light. I think there are issues for the future to understand why a structural issue like this remained unacted on for so long. That is an issue. But the most immediate issue is to get all these people properly housed, you know, in their communities, with their families together, near schools where their children go, near where they go to work, to get them compensated for the money they've lost from their work because they've had to take time off. So that is my immediate concern now, and I think there are lessons to be learned for the future, and the council will want to learn those lessons in relation to other areas and other blocks.
Genuine oversight or negligence in your view?
Well, I think it's acting on advice, and the advice has then changed. So the important thing now is to act on that advice, but also to learn the lessons as to why clearly the problems that were always there were not uncovered beforehand.
Would you or the council be following up with these various people or bodies that gave advice and saying, why did you tell us it was safe when it clearly wasn't, and what went wrong?
Well, I think that this is something that I will discuss with the council and possibly with the government as well, is how lessons are learned as to why this became here in 2017 something which is disrupting everybody's lives when concerns have been raised for decades. So there will need to be an understanding of why this didn't emerge beforehand with the clarity that it has now. But the immediate concern is to make sure that all those council staff are working with all the tenants and the leaseholders to make sure the situation is sorted out.
What you seem to be saying is that had Grenfell not happened, none of this would have been uncovered and these people would have been living in a death trap.
Well, I think the truth is that the Grenfell House fire did actually give an extra impetus, as did the Lakanal House fire, which happened before in Southwark. But I think that, you know, what I want to do is back up the council in really helping people here and now, and making sure the council is backed up by the government and that lessons are learned. Thank you very much.
Question for Mr. Shittu, please. Sir? On behalf of the council, lots of residents say they don't want to go to leisure centres for showers. They don't want to have to cook on imported hot plates. Shouldn't we be putting them up in hotels instead?
I think it's very important for us to engage with residents to understand actually how their life has been affected by the current situation, and that's what we're doing. We have, I would say, tens of officers in the building next to us, which is a community centre, having those one-to-one direct engagement. And I think it's important to understand what their immediate needs are and to try and address it. I do understand and I accept that we need to make sure that we provide as much amenities as possible which address residents' life. I'll leave it at that at the moment. Thank you very much.